Hello, once again. Good evening. I hope we're all good, and I hope we had a good day and all of that. You can drop your hands now. Okay, so we'll just get right into it. In our last class, we talked about introduction to UI, where I showed you guys how to design wireframes and all. But because of time, I wasn't able to show you guys around Figma, the basics, the tools, and how they work and all of that. So today, before we actually go into that, today is actually going to be a review session because I have seen a lot of funny submissions. Okay, I've seen a lot of funny submissions, and I realize most people don't really, they don't really understand what is going on. They don't understand what we're doing here. So this is actually to their own benefit, so they can watch and learn and make the necessary corrections. So first, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to use two people's submissions as an example. Okay, don't worry, your name is not going to show, so don't be afraid with yours. I'm just going to use them as an example to point out a few things that should be corrected. I'm going to share my screen now. Please confirm you can see my screen. All right, so you can put down your hands now. So I think Iachi, one of the mentors, he commented on this particular submission. He was like, what is this frame called? Okay, so we realized after grading a lot of people that most people were not actually designing frames, but they were actually drawing out the wireframes. Okay, you're supposed to use a frame. If you're designing for a mobile app, that's the Instagram app, for instance, you're supposed to use a frame for a mobile app, okay, to design the wireframe. And if you're doing same for a website, okay, you're supposed to use a desktop frame to design that and not draw it out. Maybe using vector tool or pen tool or pencil or whatever. Okay. That's why we told you guys to use Figma to design this, because you have the friends handy. So this is very, very wrong, totally wrong. Like everything is clustered. So exactly what Ike said, right? You cannot just come on Slack and be like, I have submitted and I haven't been promoted, because your submission doesn't guarantee your promotion. Okay, we have to go through your submissions and grade you. And then that's when we determine if you're actually worth promoting or not. So this is actually wrong. If you're on this call and this is your submission, please and please go back and do this. Okay. And in today's class, I'm going to be showing you guys the frames once again. So you can just use a frame, okay, and make sure your work is very neat. This is very clustered. The icons are suffocating. Okay. Your designs need to breathe. Okay. They need to have adequate spacing in between them and all of that. Okay. So this is one of the examples, and I'm going to show you guys another. Okay, so this is another. Honestly, I'm not going to laugh. That would be very rude of me to laugh at this. Okay, but I do not understand what is going on here. I do not understand if this person who submitted this actually gave this to maybe a junior, and if anybody laughs, I'm going to remove you from this call if you laugh at this submission. Okay, so I do not understand what is going on here. Okay, but this is actually very wrong. First off, I showed you guys how to do a low-fi and a mid-fi. Okay, you're supposed to make use of shapes like circles, squares, lines. Okay, but this is not how you're supposed to use your lines, because this is totally wrong. Even if the person who submitted this, okay, even if you were not on the call or you were not in class, it's expected that you do your research. Okay, go out there or go back and go through the class, okay, watch the YouTube video or do your own research. Go on Google. I said before, Google is supposed to be your best friend. If you have any, okay, so there's a term you do not understand, just go on Google, type it in and get your results. Okay, don't be scared of attempting to, get more information. That's how you learn. So this is actually very wrong. This is very, very wrong. And there's actually no score for this person. So with that being said, I've actually pointed out two, although there are more, but these were like the ones that I actually had to talk about. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And then I'm going to show the screen of our Figma board. And then we'll just get right into it. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen by raising your hands. All right, all right. Thank you very much. You can put down your hands now. Okay, first off, I'm going to be showing you guys a few tools and how to make use of them, for the course of this class, like the tools you're going to be making use of for a wireframe. In the next class, actually, we're going to be talking about Figma and everything about it. How to this is what we call auto layouts, all of those design systems. We're going to be looking at it next week. But for today, we're going to, like I said, today is a review session. So I'm going to be showing you guys the tools needed to, to design a wireframe. Okay, like I already said earlier in our last class, this is, the move to where my cursor is. This is the move to. This is the reason why I can actually move this. Okay. And then when you click, you see this, we have the frame. So if I click on this, I'm going to see a list of frames on the right. So on the right of my screen, you can see different frames. This is for phone. So we have iPhone 13 Pro Max, different iPhones. Okay, if you're designing for an iPhone, iOS, and if you're designing for an Android, okay, these are the screens. So you just have to click on them, click on any one of your choice, and then you have it. So this is for tablet, desktop. So for the assignment, right? I asked you guys to design a landing page, okay, a wireframe for a WhatsApp web landing page, and a lot of you guys did something very well. I was supposed to use one person as an example, but that skipped my mind. A lot of people were designing for mobile apps, okay, like the WhatsApp you have on your mobile app. You were supposed to do that for WhatsApp web, not your mobile app. So for that, you're going to make use of desktop. Just click on desktop, and then you have MacBook Pro, MacBook 16, but I'll go with desktop. Okay, so this is it. As you get your frames and all of that. And then for this, I know I already showed you guys in the last class, but we'll just go over it again. We have shape tools. So this is where you have your rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, polygon, star, and this is how you place your image. If you're working on a high fidelity, wireframe. So yeah, I'll just click on any random tool here, any random shape rather. Rectangle, I can click on this. Okay. Either that way, or I can just drag it into place. Okay. And then if I want to resize this, right? I can either choose to do it this way. Okay, or I come to my right hand here where you have, this is the width and this is the height. So the width of this rectangle is 577, while the height is 326. And this is where you constrain the proportions. So if I want to change this shape, maybe something bigger or something smaller, and I do not want the proportions, okay? Okay, I want them rather to be the same, okay, instead of being irregular. I just have to constrain. Okay, but let's look at what happens if I decide to change this to 500 instead of 577. I'm just going to change that now to 500. But then if I constrain this, it's to make sure that the width and the height are 500. They're equal. So let's test that. I clicked on this. And that's highlighted. I'll change this to 500. Sorry about that. Okay, let's say this is 577. Let me unclick this. This is 577. Okay, I'm going to constrain this now and click and change this to 500. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm just going to undo that. Okay, so what happened? Okay, so let's start this afresh. Okay, so I have this, right? This is 100, the width is 100 and the height is 100 too. Okay, and then if I decide to make this 500, okay, you can see that the width now is 500 and the height is 100. Okay, but let's return that. And then I'm going to constrain this now and change this to 200. Okay. So yes, I'm going to get another shape now. We have the eclipse. This is like the circle. So like I said, is that you click it into place or you drag it in. I'm going to undo this, or you drag it in. Okay. And then this is where you add your colors. You have where you can see this fill. Okay, so if you click on this is where you add your colors. You can either pick from anywhere. So I'm going to use this screenshot I have here as an example. So if you probably have a color somewhere, you want to pick the color, you want to change the color of any shape or whatever you're designing, just click here. You get this color picker. Maybe get the color from here. There you have it. Or if you have a color code in mind, you can also effect that change. I'm putting in 6 zeros and that's for black. So that changes to black now. Okay. And you can see where you have stroke here. So like I said, I'm just showing you the basic tools and how to make use of them for wireframes. Okay. So I'm not going to be showing you everything about Figma today, just the ones you're going to make use of when you're designing a wireframe. So this is if you want to take out the fill, this is the fill. Okay, but what happens if you want it to just be an outline? You see this where we have stroke, you click on the plus sign. It has added a stroke, but we cannot see that because the stroke is black too, and then the fill is black. But this is what happens when I take out the fill. Okay, we have just the stroke, and with this one now we have 1. This is where you get to change the number. This is what will affect the width of the stroke. Okay, so I can decide to change this to 10, and this is what we have, or 5. Okay, and here you can decide if you want the stroke to be in the center, inside, or outside. Right now it is inside. So I'm going to undo that. You have line. And every other one. This is a pen tool. I like to call it the vector tool. So you can actually use this to make a curve. You can use this to make a straight line. Most people use this to design logos too and all of that. So I'm just going to click this into place and drag to wherever I want. This is what a pen tool does. Okay, so just like the other stroke, you can decide to change the weight to maybe 5 or 10 or any number of your choice. And then if I want to make a curve out of this, I'm going to click and drag. Then I have my curve. Okay, so like I said, this can be used to design any shape at all or design logos and all of that if you're creative enough. We also have the pencil tool. Most people use this for sketches. So I can decide that this is a notebook. Okay, you can use this for sketches. So that's what a pencil tool does. Okay, I'm just going to erase that. And then the text tool. Okay, so you see what happened when I clicked on, I got this. I'm going to do that again. I got this, right? And I clicked here. You see that on the right, the properties, okay, on that text, they all came out. So this is where you get to pick your font. This is where you get to pick your font style. So I can pick, this is Inter. I can decide to pick something else. Maybe no, not lemon. We have a lot, so you just have to make your choice. I'll go with Montserrat. So I'm going to just type in something. KodeCamp. So this is where I decide, okay, if I want the weight of my text to be light or to be bold, to be heavy, this is where I get to make that choice. So we have regular, this is regular and it's thin. We have light, you can see the difference. We have medium, it's a bit thicker. We have semi-bold, we have bold, and we have extra bold and all of that. You can play around with it. And this is where I get to change the size of my text. So you can either impute whatever size you have in mind or just select from here. So I'll just go with 24. So this is 24, right? So I'm going to make this text longer because I want to show you guys something. I'll reduce this so we can all see, probably make it 18. Okay, so this text now is aligned to the left. Okay, that's why it is highlighted here. It's aligned to the left. But when I click on this align text to the center, this is what happens. Okay, this text is not that long. Okay, I'm just going to break this down. Okay, so that there you have it. But let's see if I decide to align this to the left. Have you seen that? Or align to the right? Okay, but we're going to align it to the center right now. And you can also change the colors to whatever color of your choice. You can either make change the colors here or just impute your color code, like I said before. Okay, someone asked the question, how do I see comments and all of that? So if you have a comment, there's going to be this when you have a notification, that red dot on top of whatever icon that is, maybe a notification icon. So you're going to just see a red dot above this icon. But if you're working on a project and you have team members and you want to comment on your partner's work, okay, just click on add comments and write your comments. I can decide to say this wireframe is messy, and you send the comments. So whoever is working on that board with you, that Figma board with you, automatically is going to get the comments. That's how we've been able to send comments out to the rest of you guys. Okay. So yes, we're just going to okay, one more thing. This is where on the top left, where you see my cursor right now, add new page. This is where you get to add a page. So a lot of people did that. Most people just had their submissions. Okay, I know I get 2 assignments. Number one was design a wireframe for Instagram. The second one was to design a wireframe for a WhatsApp web landing page. Okay, so most people just had it on one, on one page here. But then most people decided that, okay, they want their Instagram to be on one page and the other on another page. And that was actually pretty cool too. So this is where you get to add your page. Okay, so I can decide that this is where I want my, like you guys did, my WhatsApp web to be. So all you have to do is just double click and, rename it. And I can call this Instagram, just like you guys did. So this is the reason why I said, okay, I'm actually showing you guys this because a lot of people actually, they submitted 2 links, which I actually pointed out on Slack. You're not supposed to submit 2 links. Okay, your submissions to be on the same Figma board. Okay, so you can do it this way. Just make sure your WhatsApp is there, or either way, you can just make the wireframes, okay, on the same page. Okay, just differentiate them, or maybe name them or something so that we can know. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. So with that being said, okay, someone say, how do you change letter fonts, please? Okay, so this is the text we have here, okay, and this is Montserrat. So like I said, you can either change it by typing it out here, or okay, you can click on this drop down button and you have a list of fonts. I'm sure they're up to 100 or thereabouts. You can just make your choice. I can just click on this, for instance. Okay, I am not sure that that particular font exists for this the properties that we cut out for the other one. So that happens when that particular font size doesn't have those properties. It's not going to show up. So I'm just going to pick another random. Okay, so you can see here. So this is where you change. I know a lot of font styles. So I'm going to put in righteous. Okay, that's righteous. We have Baloo. So this is how you change your font styles. We have little, we have a lot and lot of them. So it's that you just put them in, input them, or you click on this drop down button, okay, to make your choice. Okay, someone said I have a question about the Lorem Ipsum plugin and also the frames. We're going to come to plugins soon. And for frames, I don't know what your question is, but you can write them out. Just like your mentor Trudy said, Lorem Ipsum are actually dummy text. You know when you don't want to type out a lot of or that you don't have, I like, or maybe you're working on a design and you don't have the content yet. So lorem ipsum can actually represent that content until you've actually be able to come up with your own content. So they are like dummy text, okay, to just fill up the text field. Okay, I think that's all the question on the chat. So I'm just going to move on. I'm going to take this out. Oh, I'm seeing hands. Okay, I'm just going to take this. Okay, it's just one hand now. And then we'll move on. So Nkiru, please unmute and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, I want to ask, I had a little challenge when I was designing. That's panel where they resize text. While I was designing, the thing suddenly disappeared, and I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. I don't know what could be the cause, and how do I resolve it in case of next time that text resize area.
Okay, if I understand your question, you said you were trying to resize a text.
Yes, that there is a place they change the text size.
Okay, and then what happened?
Yeah, I want to change my text size. That section suddenly disappeared when I was working, and I was looking for it. I couldn't see it, but even when I log in and log out, until I brought up another frame before the thing appeared. So I don't know what caused it, and how do I resolve it in case of next time?
Okay, so Nkiru, it has happened to me before, so you don't have to get scared or whatever. So like I said, that mostly happens when that particular text is not available for that particular size. Okay, it happens a lot, and you saw it happened right now, and I'm sure you saw it when it happened. Okay, so if that particular font style you brought out doesn't have, okay, that particular size that you put in, maybe 24 or all of that, is going to actually, you're not going to see anything, and it happened just now. So but if you want to change the size of your text, this is where you do that. Okay, this is where you do that. Okay, so there you have it. Nkiru, I hope I have been able to answer your question.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to move right into it then. Okay. So I want to actually I want to replicate this. Well, that's not the word. Okay, I want to make what do they call it? A mid fidelity, okay, of this Instagram web screen. Okay, so I made a screenshot of it to show you guys, and just so that you can follow along. This is the screen I'm going to be using, the desktop screen. So just like I like to do, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this Instagram web wireframe. Okay, so but before then, you know that when designing your mid fidelity wireframes, okay, you can make use of icons, right? Like I said, the difference between mid fidelity and low fidelity. In mid fidelity, you can actually add more content, okay, to your design, okay, than the low fidelity that has, you used shapes, lines, and all of that to represent those components. So before that, I'm going to be getting my icons. Okay, we can see these icons here, the home icon, send, and all the rest. So I'm going to show you guys how to get that. So this is where I'm going to. You see the way I have main menu on the top left where my cursor is. I'm going to click on that drop down button. And then I have a list of options, file edit and all of that. Where you have plugins, okay, you can see that this came up. But if you do not have any plugins, right, these are all the plugins that I have installed. Okay, but if you do not have any plugins, this is where you get them. Browse plugins in community. So these will automatically take you to another tab. Okay. So this is Figma community where you get a lot of plugins and all of that. So all you have to do is just put in the name, or you could just go to plugins. We have for wireframes, illustrations, and all of that. But we're looking for plugins. Okay, so these are a lot of plugins we have on Splash. This is if you want to get images into your design, but we're not going to do that. We're not using images today in our design. So we're trying to save time. So Iconify. Okay, this is where you get your icons. So it's already installed. But let me give you guys an example. Okay, we have autoflow here. If you want to install, all you have to do is just install, and automatically it's going to be added to your Figma board. Okay, but I already have Iconify installed here. I can decide to uninstall and install it. Okay, so this is where you get to, this is where you add up plugins to your Figma board. We have Iconify for your icons. Okay, we have font awesome icons for icons too, and all of that. So I'm going to go back to my board now. So first of all, we're going to start with the logo. Okay, you know how Fidelity works. So I'm going to start with the logo. I'm going to start with this, the top navigation bar. Okay, where you have the logo, the search bar here, and then the icons. So I'm just going to start from there. So for the logo, right, I'm going to get a rectangle. I think that's fine for the logo. So I like when my work is being aligned and all of that. There's what we call layout grid, but we do not have time, okay? And all of that, you're going to be taught all of that, all about layout grid, your alignment, and all of that in the next class. Okay, so that's how you check your alignment and make sure that everything, okay, has adequate spacing and your design is not too choked up. So this is going to represent my logo here. I could just decide to write logo. I'll make that text bigger. I hope you can all see. Okay, so I'm going to group this together like I did the last time. So remember what I said, just select this, Control G to group. Okay, I'm going to double click this to make sure that my work is aligned to the center of this rectangle. So this is where you get to align your elements. This is if I want to align this text to the left. So I forgot to show you guys this in the last class, so I'm doing that now. This is if you want to align the text to the horizontal center of this rectangle. So it automatically falls to the center. If I want to align it to the right, the top, and all of that, we want to align it to the center now. I want that to fall in the middle. This is what allows it to fall in the middle, aligned to vertical centers. So now my work is aligned, or the text is aligned rather, to the rectangle. So I'm going to take that up a bit. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm going to get another rectangle to represent the search bar. To represent the search bar. So I like to check my alignment. Let me see the distance between this component and the edge of this rectangle, or rather the frame that I am using to design. We have 29. So I made this 29 too. So we saw that on the right here, we had our icons. So I'm just going to get my icons, from the plugins like we talked about. And how do I add these plugins? I'm just going to right click. You have a bunch of options. You have paste here and all of that. Where you have plugins, you see the options of all the plugins that you have on your Figma board. And I am looking for Iconify. So I'm going to click on Iconify here. So this is it. You're just going to type in the icon that you want. So first of all, I'm going to type in home because I want the home icon. Now you're going to search for the one that is similar to the one on Instagram. And I just found it. So I'm going to go with this. I want the size to be 24 by 24. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to change the color here. I want it to be black. So I'm going to select that and import my icon. I'm just going to import all of them so I do not have to go back and forth. So the next icon on the Instagram screen is the the send icon that takes you to direct messages. So I'll just type in send. I think this looks closer to that. So I'll just go with this. I'll import this icon. Just keep typing in whatever icon you want to import. The next one is add. Okay. So I cannot see what I am looking for here. And you know that we have like more icons here. This is just the first page. So if I click on 2, it's going to take me to the second page. And I found what I am looking for. So I'll just click on this and import this icon. What more is left? Okay, so this icon looks like a compass. So I'm just going to type in compass to see what I'm going to get out of it. Luckily for me, I have found them. So I'm just going to click on this because this looks closer to what we have on Instagram. And then the last one is love. Oh, love doesn't work. Then I'll go with heart. Okay. So I'll click on this one. And I import this icon. Okay. So these are all my icons. I'm just going to bring them closer. Select all of them, drag them here. So because I actually selected all of that, okay, on the right hand side, you can see this box here. So this is where you get to decide the spacing between these elements, these icons here. So if I want them to all have equal, okay, spacing in between them, this is where I get to impute whatever number. I'm going to show you guys an example of what I am saying. So I'm just going to put in 10 here, for instance. You can see that. Or I can decide to make it 20 to create more spacing. Make it even 25. And then I'm going to just group that. Control G to group, like I said. And then for the profile, I'm just going to get a circle to represent that. This is too big, so I'm just going to reduce it. I'll constrain the proportions here and make this 50. 50 is still too big. I'll make this 30. I think that's better. Okay, so we all know that that's where you find your profile. That's where the profile is. All right, so with that, now we noticed there was a line here, okay, to demarcate the top bottom nav, okay, from this other content. So I'm just going to add a line to mine, or to draw an accurate line. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit, but I'm going to zoom in later. So I'll just get my line. I like to use pencil though to get an accurate line. So just from here, come down a bit, click, and so I don't know if you've noticed that, my line is red now. That's how I know that my line is actually straight. But this is what happens if I decide to tilt a bit. It's blue, and that's not a straight line. But if I'm following this red line, okay, that's how I know that my line is actually straight and accurate. So I'm just going to click here. Sorry about that. So we did not change the stroke. Okay, so it's still very heavy. I'm going to change this back to 1. And I noticed the line did not reach the edge. So I'm going to correct that now. So yes, that brings us to this particular tool. We have edit object. So if you made, okay, you have a circle and you want to tilt it, could be a rectangle or anything, any shape you've made at all, and you want to edit that shape to suit what you want. Okay, this is where you get to do that. Edit objects. So with that now, you find this node. This node automatically appears. I'm going to drag this to the end. And then I have what I want. When I'm done, I click done. Okay, so we have the line there. So with that being said, what is next? We have, where my picture is. So I'm just going to get a circle for that. Get a circle here. So I was talking about constraining proportion. So instead of, I want the width, because this is a circle, I want the width and the height to be the same. Okay, the same dimensions. So instead of clicking here and putting in 500, clicking here and putting in 500, okay, I'm going to go the easy way. I'm going to constrain the proportions here and then put in 300. Let's see what size. That's too big. Let's make it 250. Still too big. Make it 200 then. And then you can see the distance between this and this. So we're going to make sure we don't have too much distance between these two components. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this further up to make it maybe 24. So someone asked how I was able to, check the spacing between my components. All I did was to hold down on Alt, the Alt keyboard next to your space bar, hold down on it, and then make sure your cursor is at the end of wherever when you're trying to check the spacing between two components. You want to check the spacing between this circle or from this circle to the edge of my frame. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold down on Alt now. We have 140. But if I want to check the spacing from the circle there to the line, we have 48.5. Okay, but I'm still going to shift that because that's a lot of space. So that's fine now. Okay, and then I'm going to just get my, okay, so I think we're getting something wrong here. All right, so I noticed this person is not that accurate. So I'm going to, we already grouped this. I'm going to just select these guys and shift them a bit to the right. My mom used to tell me whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. So I want to make sure that I am doing the correct thing here. So I'm just going to get my text to write my name. We have Faye, that's lowercase. Faye underscore Gil. Okay, text is actually light. That's why I changed mine to light. So for the edit profile, I'm just going to get a rectangle to represent that. I think that's perfect. I'm just going to duplicate this. I want to use this guy now to represent the setting icon. It's going to make that small. Okay. And then I'd like to add a few more text to my wireframe. So I have 26 posts. Don't worry, work on the font letter, the size rather. I think we should just do that now. So you can see that the 26 is actually more highlighted than the post. And you may be wondering how how they were able to do that. So instead of using two different text boxes, you write both into one text box, okay? And then you can just, double click on 26. And it's going to highlight that for you. And then you change, you change the weight to whatever you want. I'll make my medium. There you have it. Make sure this is aligned to the first text. So you can see that. If you didn't see that, I want you to look closer at my screen. I'm just going to zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, so there's this red line. Whenever you're trying to, align your elements, okay, maybe like I wrote out this figure, and if I want every other text, okay, that I am going to write out every other element or whatever to follow that same line, okay, all I have to do is watch out for this red line. So just look closely on the left. Yeah, so you see it is aligned with the first text that I had here. I'm just going to lift this up a bit and then Control D to duplicate. We're going to call this 240 followers. Control D again to duplicate that. So I said if you do not want to do Control D, you could just hold down on Alt, drag and drop wherever you want. Okay, so we have 142 following. So I'm going to select all these and make sure that the spacing in between them is accurate. They're all the same. Because we do not want the spacing between 142 followers, this text box, to be probably 20 here. And then here we have 19, for instance. We do not want that. We want the same spacing in between them. So the last icon here that says more options, I'm going to click on that. So watch closely. I'm going to click on that, the drop down button, and I'm going to get a lot of options. I'll have tidy up, distribute vertical spacing. I'm going to click on distribute horizontal spacing. That is going to give all these elements accurate spacing in between them. So you can see that. So even if you want to be a doubting Thomas and check for yourself, I'm going to do that now. We have 22 in between that. And we have 22 here. So that's what that does for you. So we're just going to go ahead and write others down and all of that. So we have Faye here. I'll change this to medium because here we have this text is actually not light. So that's why mine is not light too. I might even make it semi-bold. Okay. So there you have it. And then I'm not going to write everything because of time, but I'm just going to, duplicate this change this to regular. Regular is to, is it regular? Is it light? Okay, it's actually light here. Okay. Bring that down a bit. So I could just write anything here. Free spirited. I don't know if I am. Okay. Reduce this a bit to maybe 20. Make sure it's aligned here too. Okay, so because of time, I'm not going to write down all of this that you're seeing here, bookworm and all of that. I'll just go straight to the point. So you can see here that we have, okay, we have the room here, we have praise, whatever. So we're just going to represent this noun. So I'm going to get a circle and a rectangle to represent that. Okay, a circle here. It's like a perfect spot. Circle there. I'm going to duplicate since we have 3 circles. Okay. So we have 43 here. You know, on the top right, like I said, this is where you check the distance in between this element or component. We have 43 here. I would make this 45. Okay, to represent that you saw here. And then for the text below, I'm just going to use a rectangle to represent that too. So I'll just get a rectangle because this is a meet fidelity. If it was low, I'll probably use lines, okay, to represent them. But since this is mid fidelity, I'll just use a rectangle for that. Okay. All right. Control D, I'm going to duplicate that. Okay. So I use that to represent these circles, these 3 circles, and the text below them. So I'm just going to go right into it. Okay. So I'm going to put this line here. I'm going to zoom out. So I'll make sure, I want to check, I want to know if the line actually reached the edge or not. So like I said, whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. So I'm just going to check that. I'm going to zoom out and check that. Okay. All right. So we know where our line is now. So I'm going to draw that. From here to maybe here. So we've gotten a line now. All right. So we have post here with an icon. We have videos, an icon, saved, tagged, and all of that. So we're just going to represent that. using rectangles. Okay, so we have 4 rectangles. Just to be clear, you guys are hearing me, right? If you can hear me, please raise your hands so I can be sure you can hear me clearly. Please, okay, I'm seeing something on the chat. If you want to duplicate, you can drop your hands, please. If you want to duplicate, right, using Control D, you might click Control D, okay, and then forget that you actually duplicated something because it's not automatically going to like appear on the other side. So all you have to do is when you click Control D, okay, make sure to drag that component out from the main one. Okay, the duplicate, drag it out from the main one to wherever you want to place it. Okay, otherwise just hold down Alt and drag to wherever you want. Okay. So I'm just going to
I think you should let them see.
okay, I'll just do that. I'll just do an example and then we'll go back. So I'm going to get a rectangle. Click here. We have a rectangle here, as you guys can see. So, like I said, if you want to do Control D, I just clicked Control D. You see, duplicate selection came out. So don't duplicate and forget that you duplicated something, because if you look at the left side, okay, you can see here rectangle 9, rectangle 8. So you have the main one and the duplicated one. They are both here, okay? So all you have to do is drag out. Okay, I'm going to delete that and I'm going to apply the other one. So now I'm going to hold down on Alt. I told you Alt key, the one on the left next to your space bar. I'm going to hold down on Alt and then I'm going to drag out. So you can either use any of those methods. I like to use Control D because already it makes my other components in alignment with the main one. Okay, so I'm sure that has answered your questions. Okay, so I'll just get a rectangle like I said earlier and just place them here. That's okay.
Favor. Somebody said, what if he or she wants to duplicate 5 times with equal spacing?
Okay, equal spacing in between them. All right. So I'm just going to do that now, but mine is 4. I mean, we do not want to waste time. So I'm going to use this to answer that question. So I've already duplicated this one. Okay. I'll duplicate 4 of them now with equal spacing. Okay. So now I'm going to select all 4 of them. Okay. You can see here that automatically this comes out, but it doesn't come out every time, right? We have 28 here. So you know that in between all of them, okay, you have 28. That's the inch in between all these components. So from this last one to this the third one, we have 28. That's the spacing in between it. From the third one to the second one, we have 28 and all of that. And you can decide to change it. I can decide to make this 35. But like I said, it doesn't always come up. And if it doesn't, we have an alternative here. I showed you guys this icon, okay, where you have more options and the drop down button. So if you click on this drop down button now, you have a list of options. So you can decide to do, distribute vertical spacing or distribute horizontal spacing. I'm going to click on distribute horizontal spacing, okay, because there already is an horizontal spacing in between my components. So that's how you know that, okay, that's how you make the element or component have equal spacing in between them, no matter the number of components, okay, that you duplicate. I'm sure that has answered your question. So I'm just going to move right into it. Okay, I think that spacing was too small.
Can I say something, Favor?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so if you want to duplicate multiple times, that is more than 2 times, like one object more than 2 times, when you do the first one manually, you can just press Ctrl D on your keyboard and it's going to automatically do what you
Exactly.
just
Yes.
did again.
Yes.
So if you do it that way 5 times, the spacing is going to be equal.
I don't know.
So I
Do I
don't
need
know.
to show them that? Okay.
I think
Okay.
you can show them because it's
Yes.
easier
For the
that
sake
way.
of this class, I'm going to do that because I mean we're all here to learn. So I'll get a rectangle. I'm going to delete that after. So this is a rectangle. This is what we want to duplicate now. So I'm going to click on Control D. I'm going to select Control D. Duplicate this. As long as I've duplicated this, right? See what happens when I click on, I'm going to select Control D again. So it keeps going. Okay, have you seen that? I'm just going to select all of that and delete. So I was just trying to show you guys what your mentor here to just explained. Okay, and that answers the girl's question, the lady that asked the question on the chat. Okay, so all right, so this is supposed to represent these guys here. And then I'm going to also represent this, okay, where you have the pictures and all of that. We have 3 rectangles there. Okay, so as you can see, the line, right? The line we have here, okay, it aligns with the rectangles. So we have to make sure that whatever rectangles we are getting, okay, that they actually begin from this line here and end here. Okay, so like I was saying, so we're going to get our rectangles now. Okay, first of all, that size was actually very big, so uh say 300. All right. 300. I'm going to align this to the line, the beginning of the line. So it's aligned now. I'm going to Control D to duplicate this guy. Okay. So now I have to make sure that, okay, I give these guys equal spacing in that this one is actually going to begin from here too. So I'm going to select all of them. We have 59 here. It still hasn't gotten there yet. Almost there. Let's make it 80. Okay, that was too much. Still too much. Okay. So this is to represent okay, the pictures. that you just saw there. So for this one now, I would like to add an icon to represent, you know, an image. So I'll go to my plugins like we did before, Iconify, and then what do I call this? Let me try image. Okay, so I think this is perfect. I import my icon. Okay, so I'm going to change the size of this icon right now because it looks rather too small. Make it maybe 50. 50 still looks a bit small. Let's make it 100. Okay, I think that's perfect. And then I'm going to change the color because I cannot have gray and black here. That's totally not nice. All right, so I'm going to add this to the middle of my rectangles respectfully. Bring to front. So we can see that this is not showing. Why? Because the rectangle is actually on top. So that's why we cannot see our icon here. So I'm just going to select, you have options here, right? Click, bring to front, you can send to back and all of that. So I'll just bring this to the front. I'll align that, don't worry. So I'm going to select this. Group it so that I can align this to the center of this rectangle. So that's aligned. Now do the same for these guys. Sorry about that. Oops. What happened? Okay, I did not align it. Sorry, I did not group it rather. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll do same for this guy. Okay, so that icon is actually to represent image because already you saw that I had my images here in these rectangles. So we have this mid-fidelity wireframe for an Instagram website. Okay. So like I said, a lot of you did a very nice job. For those that we're not able to, you know, get the hang of it, this is it. Okay, this is how you actually create a wireframe. Okay, and if you have to do it, you have to do it perfectly. All right. And then I think I should show you guys how to design a low fi because this is a mid fi in case it confuses you. So I remember saying that, you know, a low fidelity is more of sketches and it doesn't have much content. Okay, we use shapes like circles, rectangles, lines, and all of that to represent them. Okay, on the low fi and on the high fi, we add in more content. Okay, we can add in even our text and all of that. So I already said that personally, I like to think that the mid fidelity is more of, you know, an intermediate stage or maybe a bridge to move from low-fi to high-fi. So you can actually add more components to the mid fidelity wireframe, add more information to specific elements and all of that, like I did here. You know, you can see the text and the icons. Okay. So I'm seeing a raised hand. People have questions. Okay. I thought somebody raised their hand. Okay, so I'll just show you guys how to design a lo-fi before we take questions. Like I said, today was supposed to be a review session, so we do not want to spend a lot of time on this. Victor Sunday, why are you asking me? What we are designing is called what? I do not understand that question, but this is a wireframe for an Instagram website, a mid-fidelity wireframe. I'm sure that has answered your questions. Okay, so I'll just go right into it. So I may not be sharing a screenshot for this. How much time do we have left? We do not have much time, right? We have 15 minutes, okay, according to the admin. So you guys already, okay, according to the submissions, right? The reason why I actually decided to start with the mid-fidelity wireframes, because a lot of us were getting it wrong. A lot of us were getting it wrong. So, but if it's for the lo-fi, I think we all understood because I saw a lot of beautiful designs. Okay. So I am very happy that I was able to do this, okay, to show you guys an example of a MiFi or how to actually create a mid-fidelity wireframe. So for now, since we don't have much time, we're going to be taking questions. So if you have any question, please raise your hands. Or if you're not in a comfortable place or a conducive environment, you can, ask your question in the chat box and we will still attend to you. Okay, Ife Oluwa, please unmute and ask your question, please.
Okay, good evening. Sorry to drag you back. I still have a question on the lorem ipsum. So I was trying to use it while I was designing the mid fidelity, and I don't know if it's a particular plugin I was using, but I just did not know how to go about it. So I think I had to create my own text. I just wrote I think I was using ABCD and I was using something else. So I don't really know how to use that particular plugin. I don't know if it's the plugin I downloaded or I just did not really know how to go about it.
Okay, I'm going to answer that question right now because I mean we're all here to learn. And your question right now is actually going to help any other person that is having issues with that. So yes, I already have that plugin that I downloaded. So like your mentor Trudy said, lorem ipsum, okay, is a dummy text. I have a plugin for that. Okay, just like here, you can see this, right? The fourth one here, it's already installed on my Figma board. So this is where you can, like I said, you can install plugins here to use for your designs. Okay, so this is already installed here. So I'm just going to show you guys. I'll go to my plugins, right? It's here. I'll click on lorem ipsum now. Okay, so what do I have to do now? Once this has come up, okay, I just have to go and get my text tool. Let's say I want to add a text to this thing I just designed here. Just add a random text there. Okay, when you get your text tool, right, and click on your frame, this automatically comes up. So you can decide what number of sentences, either you want to add a sentence, a word, or words, or paragraphs. This is where you select it. Okay, so now I want sentences. I want to generate sentences. If I want to generate paragraphs, I'm going to click on this one. If I want to generate words, I'm going to click on this. So now how many sentences do I want? This is where I get to choose that. I'm going to make this 3 sentences and then I'll click generate. Did you see that?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes. So this is how you use this guy.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, someone else had a question. Ethan, please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Okay, good evening.
Evening.
I was having an issue when doing my assignments. If I make a triangle and I put maybe, let's say I make a box now, and I put maybe a line or a writing or something inside that box. If I try to centralize it, like using the central icon at the top, it always takes it to the middle
of your frame, right?
Of the total frame. Yes, thank you. Instead of the middle of that box that I did.
Okay, I'm going to answer your question now, and for any other person who has that issue. Okay, so I said earlier, right, that if you want to align your element, your text or whatever to the center of, maybe it could be a rectangle, circle, or anything, you have to first group them together. Otherwise, you're going to just align it to your frame. Okay, so I'm going to just give you guys an example, so I do not just give you word of mouth. So we have this frame here. Okay, I'm going to get a circle. I'll put this circle here. Get a square. I'm going to make this 300. Okay, so if I want this guy here, the circle, right, to be aligned to my rectangle, I cannot just come and click on the circle and then, go to align it to the horizontal centers without grouping it to this guy. So this is what happens when I don't group it together. I'm going to click on this now. I want us to be very practical. So you see that it automatically aligns to the frame, this desktop frame I am using to design. But this is what happens when I select this guy. I select and group them together. Control G to group, and then double click on this guy. Let me change the color. Okay, bring this to front since it's not showing. Align it to the center. And if I want it to be aligned to the middle of this rectangle, this is where I do that. Align vertical centers, and it falls to the middle automatically. So if you do not group these two elements together or these two components together, it is going to align to the center or to the middle or to the left, right, and all of that of this particular frame. So if you want it to be aligned to maybe a rectangle or circle, depends on what you're using to design, you have to first group them together. So I am very sure I have answered your question. Okay, one of the mentors has something to say. EHC, please go ahead.
Okay, I want to say you don't really have to group them. You can just highlight them and centralize both of them.
True. That's true. Yes.
You can just hold shift and click on both of them and centralize with the centralize tool.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, that works too. Okay. Lucky Blessing, you have a question. Please unmute and tell us your question.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Please, I missed out in the lorem and Pisium illustration you were showing. My network just tripped off, so I was not able to see what you did with it, like the plugins you showed on.
Okay, we do not have much time, Lucky Blessing. I'm so sorry. So you have to watch the YouTube video. Okay. We do not want to waste much time.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before we call it a day?
I have a question, please.
Ask a question now.
Louise, please, in case of next time, if you have a question, raise your hand. Yes, thank you very much. So now you can ask your question.
My question is this: the comment on my Figma board says that I don't need to add text to my wireframe. So I don't know if you can explain that.
Which wireframe? Where did the mentor comment on which particular wireframe? Because I'm sure the mentor commented on a particular wireframe.
Or I don't know, the one with maybe the WhatsApp web wireframe landing page. I think that one was wireframe. They gave the assignment. I think it's on WhatsApp landing page. The comment says that you don't need to. I just saw comments on my Figma board. You don't need to add text to your wireframe.
So, okay, like I said, but because you're not sure, I would assume your mentor asked you. Okay, I can see your screen now. Your mentor asked you, said you do not have to add text to low fidelity, emphasis on low fidelity. If you're designing a low fidelity wireframe, okay, you're not supposed to add text. You're adding text to the mid file. Okay, like I said, a low file is just sketch, and you're using lines to represent your text. It's in the mid file that you add even more components. You can decide to add text and all of that. Okay, and he actually has something to say. Please unmute and tell us. I'm sure that hasn't answered your question, Louis. He actually, please unmute and tell us.
Okay, about the question on the comment section, Esther Faloni said, please, I just checked my Figma board and the comment says we were told to design web and not mobile. But the task question says we should design the mobile screen, which I did. Esther, the task said you should design mobile for Instagram and web.
For Instagram, always
and web for WhatsApp. So if you designed mobile for both of them, you are wrong. So please check. I think that's what the mentor was trying to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Yeti, for that correction. So I advise people, right, to always read instructions. Okay, always read instructions, because I saw a lot of submissions today. Was it two or three people actually designed a WhatsApp website? Okay, but then they designed mid fidelity. We're not going to grade you, okay, because the instruction said lo-fi. I mean, your designs were amazing, but the instruction said lo-fi, so you cannot give mid-fi. Okay, so always don't get overexcited that you do not read instructions. Always read instructions so that you can actually give out what is required of you and not the other way around. So any more questions before we call it a night? We do not have much time left.
Somebody said, what about those of us that has done corrections and haven't gotten any response? Kolade, please unmute your mic.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. When did you drop the comments?
I submitted on Saturday afternoon around 2. The designer made comments. That was Saturday evening. I made the correction on Sunday. Since then, it's not been fixed.
Did you comment that you have fixed the problem?
Yes.
Did you reply to the comment that you have fixed the problem?
Yes, I did.
Okay, no problem. If I check it and you did not reply, or the person replied
now.
No, it's not.
My Figma board is even open right in front of me.
Chill. I'm saying if I check it and then you have not fixed what you're supposed to fix, or you have fixed it and then the mentor commented something else, I'm not going to promote you.
Okay, please check. Yeah, on my Figma board, I can see your arrow, so please check.
I'm not on your Figma board.
You are. I showing beside my hole.
You can continue.
Okay, Kolade, your task is going to be reviewed. Okay, do not be afraid. Your task is going to be reviewed. All right, so Yusuf Ibrahim, please unmute and ask your question.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I just wanted to ask, is there another task again that's after this class, or is just a lecture? Because I came in a little bit later. I wanted to know if there was a task, attached to this. Thank you.
Okay, Yusuf, quick question. What stage are you on?
Stage 3.
Stage 3. Have you done your stage 3 task?
Yes, I have.
Have you been graded, promoted?
I've not been graded. I've not been graded. I just got promoted. Was it yesterday or the day for yesterday? So I've submitted today, but I've not been graded. That's why I'm just asking if there is another one so that I don't miss out on the deadline.
Okay, so Yusuf, you're in stage 3, and of course, there's already a stage 4, so it means that you're already a task behind. So I'm going to advise that immediately you're graded or immediately you're promoted, that's if you actually do well, or if we give you a feedback, make sure you do it as quick as possible so you can, promoted. But if there's another task, I can't actually say, but just finish the one you have, okay? I know there are some persons that may hear what you say and they'll be like, calm down now, calm down. So I'll tell you, okay, just chill, okay?
Yes,
okay.
Thank you. Because I don't want to fall back
So,
again. I was late, so I don't want to be late again.
I understand. So like I said, so let me just reiterate, okay? Promotional tasks in quotes, promotional tasks will always drop on Thursday, 12 p.m. Okay, promotional tasks will always be dropped 12 p.m. on Thursday. So just take note of that so that at any point, wherever you are, you can put an alarm. Thursday, 12 p.m. task drops. Okay, so you do not also miss out on that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ikez. Ibrahim, I'm sure that answered your question. Iachi, you have something to say, please. Go ahead.
Okay, please, Kolade, are you there? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. You said the mentor dropped a comment on the board on Sunday and you replied, okay. And this evening you replied fixed. So what is your complaint?
I've fixed it. I fixed it for a while. I fixed it immediately. She dropped the comment and I replied, okay.
Okay. What? Okay.
Yes, and I replied, okay.
Does okay mean I should go and check it again? Is that what okay means?
Sorry, I was saying fixed. When I just came into the Slack channel, I was saying, if you know you've solved your issues and you've resolved your problem, just write fixed. So I just went back to job fixed today.
Okay. Then why did you complain that you've not been attended to?
But I've not been promoted. I'm still in stage 3.
You commented okay. Okay means I've gotten your information. Yes, I understand what you're trying to tell me. I'm going to work on it. Does not mean I have done it. We have like over 200 people to grade, and you replied okay. Do you think okay will make the mentor go back to your work? No.
I understand.
Thank God you understand, and you know the implications. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, you can go on. I'm done.
Okay, so guys, I think there are no more questions. Okay, so let's so with regards to comments, okay, so moving forward, okay, task that we're given that has to do with feedback. Okay, let's learn to we're not going to actually give you a sheet anymore. We have Excel sheets where your issues are there. No, comments will be made on your Figma board. Okay, so let's try to know how to react to a message. Okay, just like you said, okay means I've heard you. Okay, I've gotten the information fast. But when you have done that, you have to also reply because the mentor gets that notification, okay, on his mail that look okay. Because once I see a mail, once you said okay, I scroll down, I swipe down, I see okay. So that particular comment, it means I'm going as a mentor, also, okay, this person has actually seen my message. So I still need a follow-up. So you need to tell me, okay, look, it has been fixed or whatever. You need a message that actually shows that you have actually done that correction. So please, let's all take note, because moving forward, as far as Figma is concerned, whatever feedback that you're going to be getting will be sent on the Figma board. Okay, so let's take note of that. So thank you guys very much. Okay, it's been an awesome time. I want to believe that most of you, okay, who were paying attention have actually gotten a bit more clarity as to mid-fi, low-fi, and the rest. And then, of course, if you have corrections to make on your task and you have a comment, please make sure to do that as quickly as possible. The submission link is not going to stay open forever. And then we are also going to be moving. Of course, we're at stage 4, so we're getting to stage 5. Trust me, from stage 5 is going to be much more tough. So I'm going to really appeal to you, so you don't have to appeal to me. Okay, so for some of us who are 8 to 5, like we always say, 8 to 5. I understand your 8 to 5, but at the same time, we have a timeline to meet. Okay, we cannot drag this program longer than it should. Okay, so please try to step up. You know the times you have classes. Okay, so if you can't meet up the class, you also know that it's on YouTube. Once it starts, it goes on YouTube. So make sure you actually watch the classes. I've already told you when tasks will drop. So please make sure you're online to get it, and make sure you meet deadlines, because we're going to move at a pace where we're going to replicate the tech space for you. The tech space does not wait for you. Okay, it doesn't work with your own time. Okay, except you're a freelancer. And even at that, even as a freelancer, if you can't actually meet up with the demands of the company, they can actually just choose another freelancer who is ready to actually give that time. So we're going to work at the tech space pace, right? Tech space and then the pace. Yeah, so the pace in the tech space is not a slow pace actually. And trust me, it's something you need to get yourself into, so it actually sticks with you. So thank you guys very much. It's been a wonderful time. So we meet on Friday. So let's make sure we do everything that is required of us. And if you need clarity, please make sure to ask. And once again, please, I do not want to see I have submitted and I have not been promoted. It's not your right. It's something you earn. Okay, so guys, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Favor. Thank you, Mihechi. Thank you, Design Chief. Thank you, Trudy, for being on the call. Thank you, David. Thank you to each and every one of you for attending the class. At this juncture, I'm going to say, have a wonderful